There's two things I love in this world. It would be horror and indie projects. Now, having stumbled into this one, especially considering it involves indie animation, which I am absolutely a fan of, it's like a gift from God, pun intended. And yeah, so if you haven't seen it already, go watch it. They deserve all the love that they get. And yeah, and then come back here because it's really worth watching it before watching this. So yeah, thank you, and we'll get right into it.
Oh, guardian angel, please hear me, I pray. This special request I'm making today. Don't send me riches or earthly fame.
Angel Gabby. Oh, Angel Gabby.
Good morning, Francis. I love to hear you call. Oh, have you brought a new friend with you?
Yes, but I'm fearful, Angel Gabby. I never know what to say.
That's okay, Francis. Meeting new people doesn't have to be scary. Just introduce yourself and ask them to do the same. Hello there. My name is Angel Gabby. What's yours? That's a beautiful name. It's wonderful to meet you, and I hope we can be friends. Fear should never control you, Francis. I'll show you how to meet someone new. First, you introduce yourself and ask them to do the same. Hello there. My name is Angel Gabriel. What's yours? It's wonderful to meet you, Jonah. I hope I can be a good friend to you.
And give me hello.
Another way to make friends is to share things you like. Can you think of a toy or storybook that's special to you? That's great. Sharing something important lets others learn about what makes you special. Another way to make friends is to share things you like. Can you think of a toy or storybook that's special to you? That's a great book. Just like Babe, you can grow up to do whatever you want, Jonah. That's what makes you special.
Dear guardian angel, in heaven above, please answer my prayer.
Look at that, in 3 minutes we're made aware of how it's changed, we're introduced to the characters, we get a bunch of exposition, and it's quick, and we can already infer what's going on here based off everything we've just seen. I mean, come on. You have Angel Gabby, who is also referred to as Gabriel, biblical name. Jonah is also a biblical name, and Francis is probably in referral to St. Francis with CC, or maybe someone else that I'm not sure of. That's just me, but you get these differences. Like Angel Gabby's watching Jonah through the screen. You can watch her eyes move when he goes to get the book. She even responds to his name.
Each night before I go to bed, bend my knees and I bow my head. I pray to
It's a beautiful day, Francis. We shouldn't take it for granted.
Oh, but Gabby, how can I have the strength to face the day? All the rain has got me shivery and sad.
Oh, Francis, it's simple. Faith and hope give us the strength to face every challenge. It may not make us physically strong, but it can give us resolve and fortitude when we need it.
I could certainly use some fortitude.
The sun is warm sometimes, Jonah, but you shouldn't forget the moments when it burns you.
Oh, but Gabby, how can I have the strength to face the day? All the rain has got me shivery and sad.
You will need strength to be resilient during times of comfort, and fortitude to be brave during times of heat. I can show you how to be
certainly
stronger,
use some fortitude.
even though you're so small.
The rain has flooded the path back to my home. How will I ever cross? Oh, despair.
You'll never cross if you give in to despair, friend Francis. Let's follow the stream and look for a narrow crossing. This will do us a lot more good than surrendering to despair.
I see, Gabby. This hope is giving me a lot of strength.
God made the ocean.
Rain has flooded the path back to my home. How will I ever cross? Oh, despair.
In the darkest times, you must never despair, Jonah. It is our greatest enemy. Strength will be your ally, and I will show you how to be strong.
I see, Gabby. This hope is giving me a lot of strength.
We feel safest where we go to sleep. Do you want your room to feel safe?
Made the sea. But when
First, let me show you how you can be stronger than your enemy. Like David's little pebble against Goliath, this little chair is going to be stronger than anyone who comes to your door. If we put it backwards like this, it will be like your own lock and key. Look at that! It's so strong! Now let's get in the closet. The dark can be scary, but it can also be peaceful. Instead of letting the sounds and darkness make you fearful, look at God's blessings and concentrate hard on something you're thankful for. This is how your mind can be strong too. I like to take a big, slow breath to keep me calm. Would you like to try? Very good, Jonah. Now you don't have to be scared, even if he finds you.
This tape happens to begin with Jonah discovering the original publishers of the Angel Hare series, which happens to be a company with no existing records and only known by the name Wraith of Life. And then we end the footage and Gabby tells Jonah to remember when the sun burns him, and then also shows him how to barricade his door with a chair, and then shows someone trying to get in, which we don't know who that is, but we can make the inference that it's most likely one of his parents, probably his dad. Because, and it also shows him how to hide in a closet and study his breathing so that he can't be found, which is a terrifying concept. Why would he need to do that? And why are you showing him? She says, even if he finds you, which he implies a father figure, and Jonah says that he doesn't remember, he forgot he and his mother weren't always alone. And that's exactly why I love the series. It's not afraid to go into dark places and deal with real-life topics. And it breaks away from the usual formula that most analog horror series follow, where it's a new species that kills humans, or it's a disease. And you notice how to be scary without using jump scares or anything like that, because it just uses implications through its words. And I call it human horror because it's something that some people can relate to, and it's something that might reach out to them and talk to them on a personal level, and that's what makes it scary.
Hello there.
Angel Gabby. She's busy today, so I have the privilege of answering your questions on her behalf. I sure hope I can do a good job for y'all. Alright, our first letter is from Bleeding Heart Doves. She asks if there are any other angel hares. What a lovely question. Thank you, Bleeding Heart Doves. Personally, I haven't met any angels other than Gabby. She's my dearest friend. My only friend, really. Anyway, there's certainly more angel hares out there, but they have a lot of responsibilities that keep them very busy. Here's some art I've collected over time of some of Gabby's angel friends. Aren't they lovely? Our next question is from Stephanie. Thanks for writing, Steph. Oh my. She writes, are there any demon hares? As a matter of fact, there's quite a diverse lexicon of... she doesn't like me talking about all that. But sometimes, when Gabby and I get a little giddy together, she'll tell some stories. I sure wish I could share more. But just know that demon hares don't always appear as plainly as a rabbit with horns. Sometimes they look like an opportunity or a feeling. Well, I'm sure glad you wrote to us, Steph, and Gabby sends her love. Keep writing in, friends. Gabby loves to hear you call. Goodbye. Rabbit with horns, that sounds like a jackalope. Jackalopes are demon hares. Angel Gabby, I've discovered a secret.
I'll feel safer with this, the way you wield that sword.
These are nice props to demonstrate God's armor. But remember, Francis, the real sword of the Spirit isn't a weapon. Ephesians says it's the sharp wit and powerful depth of His Word.
Oh, good. I'm no good at fighting actual battles.
Not
with
once
these
if he's
little
not
arms.
coming back for a while.
I'll pray for you with the...
Jonah, you're a very brave and very special one of God's children. No, it's all right if you weren't listening. Do you remember what we decided to do if you're ever afraid? I want you to take that off the table very carefully, only holding the handle. It might be heavy. Use both hands. Can you hold it up so I can see what kind it is? Now that we've got the pieces apart, let's think of somewhere to hide them where nobody can use them for harm. No, Jonah, not the kitchen. A lot of people hide things in the kitchen and there's too much traffic for it to be safe. No, not the toy chest in your room. It would be very incriminating. Oh, we can learn that word later, but it could get you into trouble.
Or in a
Good. Now, see if you can put the book back in front of it. Wonderful job. Be slow and steady as you climb back down.
I think the belt of truth doesn't quite fit around me. Does that mean I'm extra honest, or...?
I'll always be
Well,
your
in any
warrior,
case,
Jonah.
Now even
I
a
hope
fellow
we'll never
like me
have to
could
draw
feel
a
well
weapon.
prepared as a warrior
But
of
as
the
your
Lord.
guardian angel,
Thank you.
I'll always be ready.
Tape 3 starts off with the line, everyone has scars, which basically confirms the whole child abuse theory that we've been looking at and that's been pointed towards by everything that we've heard so far. And Jonah ultimately pledges that he'll keep digging until he finds the truth about his childhood and what might have happened with the show, or who made it, all that, and see if he might be able to get in contact with them or anything. And everything on tape seems to be going pretty normally until, again, VCR recording shows up with Gabby's eyes following someone in the room, and she asks Jonah if he is going to come back anytime soon. And Jonah finally realizes she must have been watching him somehow through the screen. We're told Gabby and Jonah have made plans on what to do should he be afraid, and she tells Jonah to pick up a heavy object that's sitting on a table, and tells him to pick it up by the handle, which implies two things, a gun or a knife, and I don't think knives are that heavy, and ultimately I don't think they need to be taken apart like Gabby tells him to do next. And the implications here are very dark, because Gabby is ultimately trusting a child to take apart his father's gun, which can very easily kill him should something go wrong. And then they need to think of where to hide it, with Jonah ultimately telling Gabby, oh, I can hide it in the toy chest in my room. And Gabby claims that would be incriminating. Very interesting word choice, because that implies she knows that whatever she's going to be doing is not going to be a good look should that be found in Jonah's room. I think ultimately she seems to be making an alibi for Jonah for whatever plan she's trying to act on for whenever she does it. And then they decide to hide the pieces behind books on a bookshelf, which, not many people are reading books but so it's a fairly decent idea. And then right at the end, we're told by Gabby that she's always ready to draw a weapon should someone try to harm Jonah or anything like that. And this is most likely, her showing that she is a guardian angel and needs to watch over and protect him, which does tie into the motto that we learn later, which is, she loves to hear you call, which implies that she's always there when you need her.
Although I love you, it's goodbye. I won't be waiting when you call.
I'm sorry, Gabby. I was scared you'd be mad at me, but I shouldn't have lied.
No, you shouldn't have. It hurt my feelings that you would take one of my angel feathers, but it hurt me so much more that you would lie about it, Francis.
Will you ever forgive me?
The Bible tells us to forgive, but Proverbs 19 also warns us about the consequences of lying. Do you think we should forgive Francis now that he's apologized? We should? That's very nice of you. It shows a lot of courage to be merciful toward others. Francis, I forgive you.
That's so kind of you, Gabby.
We meet at night and steal.
I'm sorry, Gabby. I was scared you'd be mad at me, but I shouldn't have lied.
Honesty is important, Jonah. You should always tell the truth. If you know you're going to be in trouble, you should create a truth for later.
Will you ever forgive me?
Go to a friend's house when something bad happens, and you won't have to lie about it when they ask you later. They are going to ask you what happened, Jonah, so you have to make sure you're gone when the time comes. We have to make sure you only have truth to tell.
Will fall, but I forget I ever.
You can forgive Francis if you want, but it will be difficult to ever trust him again. Revelations warns us of the place prepared for liars. It's up to you, Jonah. What would you like me to do?
That's so kind of you.
It's all right. Take your time and think about it. It's not an easy decision.
Water crews arrived and were able to essentially close the floodgates. but not before the damage was done.
It's gonna take a
I was thinking the same thing. I'll help you however I can.
but I forget I ever saw you.
Jonah starts theorizing that something must have torn him and his angel apart, and that's why, she's still not around after all this time, and he pledges to go find a way to bring her back. And when we get into the recordings, we see Francis has taken one of Gabby's feathers, which might be some way of hinting that, Gabby's going to fall by helping Jonah commit a sin, or she might sin herself by protecting him. She tells Jonah that if he's going to get in trouble something, he shouldn't lie, which is great advice, of course, we've all heard it. But he should have a truth for when he gets in trouble. And that's having a truth for when you get in trouble is just an alibi, so that confirms she is plotting. And she's plotting something, we don't know what. We can only theorize based off everything we've seen. And she tells him to go to a friend's house if something happens, because they will ask you about it. I'm assuming they would be like the cops or someone, because, there's a bunch of plans about making an alibi, and having a reason for that alibi is something illegal. And Jonah realizes that she is probably making him an alibi for no reason other than something she's going to do. And Gabby tells him he can forgive someone if he wants, but tells him that he may not be able to trust them. She completely changes the Bible verse from Proverbs chapter 19 to Revelations chapter 20. And mentioning Revelations is kind of interesting, because that chapter is all about Satan, first fallen angel, being cast from the abyss, which is also hell, for 1,000 years before being released, and signifying the beginning of the end of days. And, again, that brings back hell, and where do fallen angels end up? Hell. And then the recording stops on the line, "What would you like me to do?" And then we're informed that a flood wiped out all the town records, so there's no proof of anything ever happening from when he was a child. And we get back into recording, and Gabby tells Jonah to take his time when making the decision. And we don't know what Jonah said, but Gabby says she was thinking of doing the same thing. And we're left in the dark.
My childhood days, oh Lord, a minute. My childhood days, oh Lord, a minute. My childhood days, oh Lord, a minute.
Some children may break many balloons, and the experimenter may try to find out whether he feels any guilt about the destruction.
When the wind blows, the cradle rocks, the bow breaks, and down come our babies, cradles and all.
Children witnessing violent events on television.
Beginning at 1 year of age, the child is trying to interpret what he sees.
And he feels danger. Get back to your home.
That are a little different.
Whether it's exposure to the television programming itself, or the family and social conditions that lead to children spending a lot of time watching it.
Unfortunately, if the child does not smile, we cannot infer that he is not comprehending the event.
If it's the programming itself, the burden appears to fall on the film industry.
Whatever the combination is, it seems to be a fairly lethal combination.
One of their neighbors kept on looking for them until they were found.
If placed in a dark room, he would probably open his eyes while searching.
Meanwhile, as an old friend used to say, good night and good luck.
Jonah's going back home, and we're told he wants to do digging, and he ultimately ends up surprising his mom, but he doesn't tell her why he showed up in the first place. And when he gets into the attic, he realizes that his mom was doing the exact same thing that he is now, except she had gone far more in detail. She called up the company multiple times and even stalked the employees and then tried to get answers to questions, which with all the background footage that we have, it's, what could cause a child to do this? Why is he so angry? But given the person we're led to speculate his father to be, should our guess be, true, it's pretty clear. And his mom only stopped because she was threatened with a lawsuit by Keith Publishing, which is the brand that repackaged Angel Hair and went bankrupt in the 90s. And he decides he ultimately won't make his mom revisit everything that she went to until he can manage to figure out how to get Gabby back.
Hello there. I'm afraid Angel Gabby couldn't be here today, but she's so thrilled with all the mail that's come in. Y'all are really writing a lot. There's so much of it. I'll do my best to get through as much as I can. Let's see, here's a couple. Honey Bunny asks if there are other types of angel animals, and Tin Moose wants to know if there are other magical creatures. What fascinating questions. Thanks for being so curious, you two. Of course there aren't other magical creatures. Gabby isn't magical after all. If you see a magical creature, it's probably an unholy apparition trying to lure you into trouble. Trust me, even the friendly ones can be a wolf in sheep's clothing. As for other angel animals... Let's see, what do we have next? Coy asks if there is anyone in the woods besides the angel and the badger. My name is Francis. And Natalia asks if there will be more friends showing up. Well, don't worry, Natalia and Coy. The forest is always buzzing with life. Today's just a little quiet. Okay, next we have a couple letters from Mary Stone and Doom Gamer 3000. What lovely names. Thanks for writing, friends. They ask what Gabby's duties are, and if other angels like to come down and help. I think you'll be interested to know that Gabby has a lot of very busy angel friends. They have a lot of work to do all over the world, and their duty is to help those in need. If you keep an eye out, maybe you'll spot your local angel Hare hopping around and helping people. Alrighty, next is a letter from Frog. Frog asks how we get these letters, and if we know where they're coming from. What a funny question. We get our letters through the mail like everyone else, Frog. And they come from curious little writers just like you tuning in to watch your friends. Speaking of friends, our next letter is from R. Pakula. They write, do you know how you became Jonah's guardian angel? Do you remember anything about Jonah? Inky Lemon asks, how high can Gabby fly? What a funny question. Thanks for writing, Inky Lemon. I've seen Gabby fly so high, she disappears right into the sun. I don't know how to measure it in units of science, but she certainly is a good flyer. That's all the time we have for today, friends. I appreciate your patience, and I hope you'll stay in touch. It's very comforting to know so many of you want to learn more about Gabby. She loves to hear you call. Goodbye. Oh, wait a minute. There's another letter here from a Never mind, I can't pronounce it.
A second tape without the character namesake Angel Gabby. Again, it's just Francis sitting in his house reading fan letters to Gabby because she can't be bothered to read them herself. And we have one where it's, oh, there are no magical creatures, Gabby isn't magical. And if you do see something that's magical, it's probably a demon. When we get to a question about if there are other angel animals, the tape glitches, and it leaves us in the dark on that. And we're told that the forest is supposedly always, very lively, and there's a ton of animals and other characters, but we've, again, never seen one in the entire time we've watched this. And we're told Gabby has other angel friends, which appear in the stained glass, which one has gray fur and a red robe, and another with a, blue robe, which we've never met yet. The other one we do eventually meet in the second half. And the second season begins with, instead of tapes, we're called cases. So, and we see the gray bunny appear as Zagzago, who rules fourth heaven as an angel of wisdom, which apparently all angels take jobs in specific areas on the planet to assist humans who need help should they ask. And Francis once again receives a note in regards to Gabby meeting Jonah, which again we get a very weird glitch out, and his eyes go into his head and revealing nothing but pure static. And it just goes back to reading questions like nothing happened and he never saw the note at all. And the tape continues to glitch through the rest of it. And the tape continues to glitch for the entire duration that it still plays. And when we get to the end, again, we hear the phrase, "She loves to hear you call," and Francis starts trying to read a note from his own voice actor, which he can't even pronounce the name of.
I feel I'm falling apart 'cause I know I've lost my
That's a lovely drawing, Jonah. That's silly, Jonah. People can't fly. Don't worry. We can stay here as long as you need me to. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. The colors show other animals that they're dangerous. We can be dangerous too, Jonah. We can keep them away with just our banner.
Angel Gabby. Oh, Angel Gabby.
Hello? Gabriel? Angel Gabby?
Good morning, Francis. I love to hear you call. Have you brought a new friend with you?
Yes, but I'm fearful, Angel Gabby. I never know what to say.
Oh my god. What? It's me. Jonah, I'm here. Do you remember me?
I'm so happy to see you, Jonah. Just look how well you've grown.
Jonah finally discovers the only thing that's missing from when he was a child and watching the cartoon. He realizes it's not a live broadcast anymore, it's only a recording, and he chooses to try and bring Gabby back by starting up a Twitch stream. And I have no clue if they actually did that, which, if they did, amazing. If you know, please tell me in the comments. And when we get into the tape, we get the line from Gabby that tells Jonah, "We can be dangerous too." And again, it ties back into the possibility that something happened to Jonah's dad and it involved Jonah in some way, and he had an alibi to get him out of trouble. And then we get into the part where he starts up the Twitch stream, and we can already tell something's different because Gabby starts eyeing him up as if she doesn't even know who he is, till he says, "It's me, Jonah." And we get this really heartwarming moment, for lack of a better word, because it's a really warm smile that Gabby shares with Jonah. And they're really happy, and we get the line of Gabby telling Jonah, "Look how well you've grown." She's probably surprised that whatever happened in his childhood didn't affect him into his adult life, and is just happy that he's still functioning normally. And it makes a really good end for the first half, I do have to admit.
Hello. Happy Easter. He is risen.
He is risen indeed, Francis. Are you ready to celebrate this special day with our friends?
Oh, yes, Gabby. Only, I'm not sure how. Can you help?
Of course. Will you follow along with us? That's great.
So how do we start?
We start with some eggs. Now we'll be using... Oh no, careful! That's why we'll be using boiled eggs. Let's get a parent to help, okay? No, with a parent.
Oh, my.
All right. Now we have everything set up. Let's go over our materials. We have hard-boiled eggs, cups full of dyed water, and paints. Now, egg painting comes from an early Mesopotamian metaphor for the Holy Trinity, and Christians would paint them red to represent the crucifixion. But today, we can paint whatever we like in all sorts of colors.
We can paint whatever we like?
Well, I would paint something that matters to you, like a special flower, favorite image, or missing memory.
Ooh, fun!
Now, first we have to dye the egg to get a base color we can paint on top of. You have to be careful because dye is a potent stain. So if you use your spoons to carefully lower your... See, now your hands are going to stay that color.
I'm all done, Gabby.
Actually, I'll take that, Francis. How about you try another one?
All right.
Okay, now that your egg and hands and shirt are all dyed, we can get to the paint. Remember that eggs are round, so we have to cover each and every side of them. I like to surround my egg in palm fronds to remind me of promises made.
How does this look, Gabby?
Make another, Francis.
All right.
Oh, careful! You're actually trying to keep all the paint on the egg. No, we'll eat them later, once it's dry and out of the shell.
Look what I made, Gabby. I'll start again.
It's okay. The egg itself is just for fun. What's important is to remember the message, which is that someone was willing to die to keep you from harm. You can always have faith in that, Jonah.
Happy Easter. Angel Gabby. Oh, Angel Gabby. Angel Gabby. Gabby. Angel Gabby. Oh, Angel Gabby. Gabby.
A tape directed at the Easter tradition of painting eggs. What could possibly go wrong? And When we get into the tape, Gabby tells Jonah to grab one of his parents because, you know, she doesn't want him breaking any shells or getting himself stained with dye, which he does ultimately end up doing. And again, he drops an egg and Francis appears to react, which is the first time we've seen him do such a thing. And then Gabby goes over the religious history of where painting eggs came from and how, you know, they used to paint them red because it symbolized the crucifixion. And she begins to help Jonah do his, and he's incredibly messy while doing it. And she tells him to draw like a flower or something, and then we also get the line, draw a missing memory, which is ultimately what Jonah has been looking for. He's looking for his past, which again ties back into how we got here in the first place. And Francis returns with his egg, and it's a snake biting its own tail, which is the symbol for infinity. And Gabby doesn't like what he made, so she tells him to try again. And she tells us that she likes to surround her eggs in palm fronds to remind her of promises. Which again, she made a promise to Jonah that she'd always be there. Francis then comes back, and this time there's a rabbit's head with an X through it, which again, angel hair. X, Gabby might fall, which we've already seen didn't happen unless she was like redeemed or something. And again, she doesn't like it, and she tells him to go make another. And Gabby has to tell Jonah not to eat the egg because it's still wet, it's not dry, and just because it's boiled doesn't mean it's safe to eat. You painted it, you have to get it out of the shell now. And he's a child, he probably doesn't know, a lot. Assuming he's a child when this tape was made. I'm very much assuming. And again, Francis comes back with another image to piss off Gabby. It's a skull, bones, and a halo, which the death of an angel. And then eventually we get to Gabby's reminder of the message of Easter, which is Jesus was willing to die to keep humanity from harm and suffering hell. Which also ties into the fact that she's willing to fall and do things for Jonah. And we end off on a rather depressing note, with Gabby not answering Francis's call or Jonah's, which we have no clue where she went. And it sets us up for the second half.